Hello, this is Caitlin Ely. I'm presenting a lesson plan for ELED 3040. My objective for this lesson is to teach students to distinguish which words have the same target sound in a set of words. And for this lesson, we're going to focus on the initial sound. So I could give them ball and bet. All, et, beginning. And the importance of this is to help students become phonemically aware so they can better read. It'll help them in phonics, which is coming up next, and then it can help them in spelling. So to start off the lesson, we would review information from a previous lesson, and we're going to review how to count out the amount of sounds in a one-syllable word. So I would give a word, and we would count with fingers. So I could say cat. The word is cat. At. How many sounds do we have in that word? We have 3. How do we know? We count it out. At. Cat. What's the first sound we hear? We hear k. And that can also be like a intro to our lesson. Let them know which sound is which. The motivation that we would do for this lesson is head, nose, and toes. Head, knees, and toes. I would give a word, and for each sound we hear, we'd touch our head, and we'd say the sound. We'd touch our knees, and we'd say the sound, and then we'd touch our toes and say the final sound. And I was going to try to stick to 3-letter words for this motivation, so I'd give a word like, our word is dog. D-A-G. D-A-G. And then you could continue with, several other words. And then, where are we at? We'd start it with an activity. First activity would be a beginning sound matchup, and you would need, a pocket chart maybe, and some picture cards. And you would have them, I don't have a pocket chart here, clearly, I'm in my house, but you would get your picture cards set up. Where are they? And you would have them facing where the students couldn't see. Pretend this is a pocket chart. And we'd flip them one at a time. And we'd pronunciate slowly, emphasizing on the beginning sound. So I'd flip one. Our word is net. N-et. Net. N-et. What's the first sound we said? We said n. B. B-E. B-E. What's the first sound we hear? We hear b. So now we have n. B. Ooh. Wrong card. And then we'd flip the final. What's our final sound? Our final word is nail. N-e-o. N. Which two make a match? Which two have the same first sound? N-et. N-el. They both have n at the beginning. So you'd pair those up, and then you would remove the other card. And a pocket chart has several rows, so you'd have 3 to each row, trying to focus on different consonants. And you would let the students take turns going from that point. The follow-up activity we would have was called Bridge Game. And that is from our teaching reading source book, the purple book. And the game would be set up, and once again, I don't have student chairs, so we would have like a line of student chairs, and the teacher is called the lion. And you give each student a card, an animal card, and they have to tell you the initial sound they hear for their animal before they can cross the bridge. They can climb over it or jump over it, or whatever you're comfortable, the teacher being comfortable doing. So I would start by showing them. I'm a pig. Pig. P-I-G. P-I-G. What's the first sound? P. My animal starts with the P sound, and then I would cross the bridge, and I would let each student go, taking turns until everyone's gone. And for closure, we would do a kind of like a spinoff of the initial activity, the word matchup. I would give them orally the words, and I would have my students help me identify which words out of the 3 that I've given have the same initial sound. So I could say ox. One word is ox. Ox. The next word is sauce. All. And our last word is sun. Sun. Which two have the same first sound? Saw and sun. What sound is that? S, s. We hear s at the beginning of saw, and we hear s at the beginning of n. And for homework, I assigned this. It's a beginning sound worksheet. You have picture cards for each. You have a mop, snake, tag, so on. And then you have 3 different consonants, and you're going to cut, paste, or you could already have them cut, however you prefer to do it. And you'll have your students identify the initial sound and match them into the right column. For my early finishers, I assigned color by sound page with G. We're looking for words that begin with G, G, G. So they'll go through and they'll find the G at the beginning, and then they'll color them. And for my enrichment, I did a worksheet that's the same as the beginning sounds, but I will add an added challenge of having them come up with at least 1 to 2 words that would fit for each continent column. So let's see. Bath, boot. They're all going to go in the B column, and then they would come up with another word. Ball, bet, bone, ba at the beginning, and I would have them come up with 1 or 2, depending on, I could range what I felt like they needed. They could come up with 1 or 2 for each row, or just 1 for each row, and so on. And for my remediation, let me see if I can find it. My remediation is going to be having a para or me, depending on, what's practical during the day and during the schedule at a different time, different lesson, recess, whatever works. I would have me or a paraprofessional play a round of Go Fish using beginning sounds with those students. They'd pair off and play together, and we could assist them, watch them, assess them. I know I have it. Let me find where I said it. Here it is. So you would give each student, I wouldn't go over 4 cards-ish. They'd hold it. Banana. Gate. Fair. And the first student would look at their cards, figure out what initial sounds they have, and it's just like Go Fish. Looking for a card with a B sound. Does anyone have it? If they don't, Go Fish, you pick up another card. If not, if they do, the person gives it to them, and then they've made a pair, and so on. You can watch them and kind of assess where they're at. Assist them. It's a good game to assist with. Give them a little bit more encouragement. And for my special needs, for my reading, for my reading disability children, we would work with a para on hearing and pronouncing the initial sound in a word. And they would also be given credit based on the amount of work they put into the lesson and the amount of work they put into their pages that would later be assigned. So they would be credited for it. But I would get them to work a little bit extra of time with just hearing and saying the initial sounds and saying out each sound with a para. And for the ELA students, they would work with a para on pronunciation. And the para would focus on slowly emphasizing sounds and having them mimic her mouth and her mouth movements. And what else? I think that's it. Thank you.